everybody, this video is talking about how to add, I think I just ripped my jeans, how to add another instrument into the Voicelive 3. To be able to add in another instrument to your Voicelive 3, we use the auxiliary input, and there's a few things we need to set up to get it working well and that you should know. You will need a stereo 1/8 inch jack. I use this from my phone because it just goes straight out and straight in, nice and easy. Otherwise, if you are using a single jack cable, let's say you have a bass guitar that you want to plug in, or another instrument, you can use a mono jack. This is just an adapter that's going to go from a 1/4 inch jack to an 1/8 inch jack. It is mono, I have tested it, it works fine, and that means now all we need to do is set some levels on the Voicelive 3. What we're going to do is go in and hit setup. If you scroll down under input using the big wheel on the Voicelive 3, you'll get to auxiliary gain, and this sets the level, the amount of signal that's coming in from that input that we just plugged in. So for example, today it's from my MPX8, and I suggest having the level on your instrument, whether that's a bass guitar, whether it's a sample pad or something like this, set it maybe around 70%. That way you've got a good strong signal coming in, and you've still got room to move both up or down. On your instrument live, you've got a little bit of space, breathing space, to give yourself a boost if you need to. Unfortunately with this, there's no metering to check whether you're clipping or whether you're sending too much signal in and it's getting distorted. So use your ears. If in doubt, you can roll it back on the gain that we just did in the setup settings, just for safety's sake. Exit out of the setup, and now we get to set the actual volume level, the output level from the Voicelive 3. One thing you need to be aware of is this channel comes out the XLR, the same XLR outputs that your vocal is on. For me, when I started using my phone to add in a kick drum and some grooves into my loops, I found that because it was on my vocal channel, a lot of the bottom end, the EQ, I'd rolled off the bass on my vocal channel, and I actually had to bring a bit of that back to get it sounding good. So you may need to experiment with this, but for now let's just give you the option to set the actual level itself. To do that, if you turn any of the 4 knobs that are just underneath the LCD screen, you'll get to your main mix, and you'll see the third one over is your auxiliary output. From there, that third knob you can just turn up or down, nice and easy to set the level, and what you're doing is essentially balancing your extra instrument with the level that your vocal's at. Okay? Okay? The last piece of the puzzle is choosing which of those inputs are actually being recorded into your loops when you perform live. And there's about 4 ways to do this. Firstly, if you don't have a switch pedal, like an external, the switch 3 or the switch 6, and an external foot switch, if you don't have one, then what I'd suggest is you go in and you set your step pedal to switch between the inputs. So what it means is you hold down to switch to the looper screen, and then your step pedal switches between which inputs. And you can change, again, if you go into the button mapping, and you can change the order that these come in. For me, I have it set to guitar, guitar and vocals, and just the auxiliary send. You can obviously have them as all coming in at once, but I find it builds up too much noise if I leave my microphone in the mix. The second way to do this is switch to your looper screen. You can have step programmed however you like, that's fine. If you use steps, then obviously you're going to want to keep that. The downside of this is you have to stop the loop to then access changing the inputs. So if I record something on track A, cool, no worries. to get to those inputs, I have to stop that loop, hit utilities, the little utilities which is your UMod button. In the middle, there's input, then I can switch to vocal guitar, just vocal, auxiliary, all. Then I go back, then I can play my loop again and record, and now I've got the next section. So if you can be creative and find a way to do that, superb, that's fantastic. If not, okay, maybe it's the third option, and that is now either the Switch 3 or the Switch 6 or another compatible foot switch. So I use the Switch 6 simply because that's what I bought. I actually think the Switch 3 might be a better option because the Switch 6 is just, it's a long pedal and it really expands the size of your foot pedal footprint. That's what I use at the moment, and I just assign one of those to cycle through the inputs of what's going into my loop. So let's plug everything in and record a few things and do a demo, eh? Set to guitar for the input at the moment, and we're going to record just this as our groove. Okay, now we need to switch to the auxiliary input, so this. Should we use claps or little clicks? Let's go with the clicks. Okay, so they're in there. Now I can jump back out into guitar. Maybe I want to put a bass line in. Okay, so now my bass line's in there. This is a little thing I use for a basics of a Simply Red song, and I just kind of cheat a little bit. Got me started. Well, you know that I will love you. Lately since we parted, I truly know that I need you. I'm giving all love for you, I'm giving all love for you, yes. I'm giving all love for you, I'm giving all love for you, yes I would. Yes, I would. One thing to be careful of, and I got caught out with this, is often I've left it on auxiliary input for my loop, and I've been recording a little guitar part, and obviously when I stop the recording, nothing has been recorded onto the loop, because it's ignoring the guitar. In this video I used the Akai MPX8 because it's been fun for me and I've been playing around with using that rather than my phone, but I did want to go through the app that I use on my phone for you because I think it will be useful to a lot of you. All of you will have a phone, not all of you will have a sample pad that you can plug in and use. So the program I use is iMachine 2, loading up there. Oh, and some nice messages as well. It's from Karen. Hi Karen, how's it going? You're in my video now. Why did I use iMachine? Basically because I got a recommendation from someone, but all of these are programmable. I can change the sounds, I can buy different packs if I want, although there's a lot of packs, you don't actually have to spend any money on it from memory. You may have to buy the app, I'm not sure, I can't remember, sorry. These are programmable, so I can put in what I want, and also I can go in and I can add effects to it. So that's a little reverb, and I can change how much reverb, how much space there is, the room size, the decay, that sort of thing. I'll link to the app for those of you that are interested down below this video so that you can find it should you wish to experiment with it. But I used it for quite a long time. I'm sure I will use it again. I'm just going through a phase of playing around with this little sample pad instead.